Sat Shri Akal, welcome to Amma Brown Girl. My name's Amma. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about lesbians in Thailand. Today's episode was again voted by my friends on Instagram, so I really thank you so much for helping, and the engagement is incredible. It really does mean a lot. And if you're not already following my socials, make sure you do, because I post a lot of unhinged stories and keep you guys updated with my travel journey. I just want to start off by saying that at least once a day, if not twice, I will sit there and think, oh my God, I am so glad to be gay, because it's truly amazing. I don't care if I made it my entire personality, because I went 21 years thinking I was attracted to men. So if I do make it my entire personality, you can't really blame me. I know my friends can quote me on this, but whenever I'm around them, I will always mention something about being gay or how much I love being a lesbian. It's really a matter of time as to how long it takes me to say something about being gay or queer or lesbian. I don't really know if there's any books out there about the psychology of queer love, and I'm sure they exist, but I need to do my research. And if they don't exist, I don't know why they don't exist. But queer love is so deep, and it's honestly the best thing ever. If I had to state the top 3 best things about being gay or in a queer loving relationship, subject to having an incredible, beautiful, and thoughtful partner, I'd say number 1, I feel very understood, in the sense that there are some things that men will never understand, such as periods or the crazy emotions that I will have that I cannot explain why I'm having. But I feel that with my girlfriend, I feel very understood and I don't feel crazy. And before you police me on the fact that, oh no, it's not all men, and I agree, it is not all men, it's just a specific kind of men, because I know that I have friends who are dating incredible guys and even fiancés as well. And I'm just like, I look at those men and I'm like, you are the definition of how you should love a woman, and it makes me really happy. But when we're talking about being queer specifically, it is really nice to feel understood, because your person is going to have a similar biology. And that's just my opinion. Number 2, I would say thoughtfulness. Side note, if you hear me using the word sunflower, it's because I'm referring to my girlfriend, because that's her nickname and sunflowers are her favorite flowers. Sunflower is the most thoughtful person I've ever loved. And when I first met her, one of the first things I said to her was, I love flowers and I want someone who makes my life easier, and she does exactly that and more. I honestly couldn't ask for anyone better. In the moments where I feel like I need support or I need someone to rely on, she is always there for me. Lastly, one of the best things about being gay for me is that I will never have a pregnancy scare. And that's why, according to the National Institute of Health, 86% of lesbians finish in bed. Do what you will with that information. And don't get me started on the small percentage of the closeted men who won't go down on their partners. In my opinion, they belong in a special place called hell. Anyways, back to today's topic. As you know, I'm in Thailand, Phuket at the moment, and there's like kids playing in the pool and they're so intrigued as to what I'm doing. And they're just like, she has a camera, she's making a video, so cute. I don't want to put them in because I really try my best to avoid having any young people or children in my videos. I'm really against that. But yeah, they're really cute and it's just like, oh my God. Anyways, back to today's topic. I'm in Thailand with Sunflower at the moment in Phuket, and the weather is beautiful. Thailand is often referred as the paradise for LGBTQ individuals, and it's not difficult to see that. It's also known as the land of smiles, and Thailand has gained that reputation for its colourful gay scene, especially in the cities of Bangkok and Chiang Mai. The social attitudes towards LGBTQIA+ communities in Thailand are a lot more accepting compared to other countries in Southeast Asia. In the few days that I was in Bangkok, I saw a lot of people walking hand in hand. There was a lot of PDA, regardless of if you were straight or gay. I saw lots of cool outfits, such as men in skirts or dresses, and it really made me feel like, wow, I don't see enough of this, and I absolutely love it. It's really nice to see how that environment creates a sense of freedom and belonging. And of course, I think it's also important to acknowledge the fact that not everyone thinks very openly. Of course, there's going to be groups of people who don't accept gay people or the queer scene. But what is important from what I've seen is that everyone is very respectful and open about it. Thailand is a predominantly Buddhist country with over 94% of its people practicing that religion. The country is also home to other religions which contribute to its diversity, which include 4 to 5% of Islam, 1% Christian, a small percentage of Hinduism and Sikhism. And there's also the community of traditional folk religions as well that you'll find in the smaller villages of Thailand. While the urban areas are quite progressive, rural religions in Thailand can be quite different, and many lesbians or queer people can still feel that pressure to conform to traditional values. So, for example, having to be in a straight relationship. The good thing is I saw lots of communities and workshops and LGBTQ plus organizations that do create these safe spaces for expression, connection, and freedom. I haven't personally experienced any discrimination, nor has Sunflower. We've both felt very safe, and we know that Thailand is a very open country, so it definitely adds to it. I get really happy seeing other lesbians around, or just gay people in general, and it feels like in the club, we are fam. And talking about clubs, actually, there's many clubs that do cater for the queer scene. There's many venues in Bangkok, such as DJ Station and GOD, which stands for Guys on Display. They host a lot of events that include everyone, so it makes it a really nice, safe, and inclusive space for people to enjoy themselves. There's also gatherings and events around Pride celebrations as well. And if you don't already know, Bangkok has one of the biggest Pride celebrations, so it's become a very significant event. There's also conversation around media representation and how it can impact how individuals feel about their identities. Thailand has made a lot of progress, but a lot of films still lean on stereotypes. But there is progressive media of lesbian characters. From my research, I found that there was a 2018 film called Girl from Nowhere that showcased the reality and challenges lesbians faced in society. Luckily, 22nd of January 2025 is the date that marks Thailand making same-sex marriage legal, recognition of same-sex couples, stepchild adoption by same-sex couples, and joint adoption by same-sex couples. I don't know why I thought it was already legal. I'm pretty sure I saw something in the media. I might be wrong. But either way, I think they have a date set to have that progressed. I've also felt the physical difference in terms of acceptance when it comes to traveling to different countries. Malta was possibly one of the best countries I've ever visited with Sunflower, and I'm sure it's statistically rated as one of the best places to visit for queer people. We faced no discrimination, everyone was very welcoming and warm, and I felt very safe being there, compared to Bucharest, Romania, which obviously isn't a shock. But even when we went to the touristy places like the spa, which was at Thermae, it was extremely unwelcoming. Even the staff were quite rude and homophobic, super racist. It was just the energy in that space. It was really off, and at times we did feel quite unsafe. So it's really interesting to compare queer experiences from country to country. When you are a person of color traveling, you're not only having to check the safety and the racism of that country, but when you're queer and a person of color, you're having to check how racist, how safe, and how homophobic that country is. For anyone who is planning to travel to Thailand and you are queer, I wouldn't worry about anything too much, but if I could give you 3 pieces of advice, it would be the following. I would definitely say research and connect, look at certain clubs or communities, especially if you're staying in a hostel, it's a really good way to meet lots of people. Number 2, always trust your instincts. If you're in a certain situation or area or around someone who makes you feel unsafe, even in the slightest, trust your gut and always prioritize your safety. And number 3, embrace the culture. I found that Thai people are incredibly warm and welcoming. Trying to talk to the locals and getting to understand how they live life is always a nice experience. And it might sound a little bit odd that I'm giving advice as to how to stay safe as a queer person in Thailand, despite it being such an open country. But I just feel like sometimes as a queer person, no matter where I am, no matter what the rules are, I do feel a little bit guarded as to making sure I'm 100% safe. So I feel like prevention is always better. Not to say that Thailand has made me feel unsafe in any way. It's just always good to be precautious. As I wrap up this episode, I really want to emphasize on the incredible sense of community in Thailand. Bangkok was definitely intense for me. It was like London, but on steroids with like sky trains, and it's very big in the sense that if you want to do something, you need to at least plan an hour to an hour and a half for travel, which was quite surprising for me because I've been backpacking in Vietnam for a month. And if you've been to Vietnam, you know that every day can be quite spontaneous. You don't really need to plan everything and things are quite local. I'm also really missing Vietnam and I'm already planning to go back. Vietnam, Hanoi honestly has my heart. I'll probably make an episode about my experience in Vietnam, but I swear that place really humbled me and taught me how little we really need. I learned how to piss in a squatter toilet, and I know you might be watching or listening and thinking, what's the big deal? But I'm telling you, for me, before I went traveling, I was just like, that is my worst nightmare. I'm so scared to piss on myself, or like, what if I get my foot in the toilet? Like, it was a lot to think about. And I think that was something that caused me a great amount of anxiety. but I did it many times. Like when you need to go, you will just go. You will figure out how to do it. And I feel like for me personally, that was an accomplishment. I also learned how to be very frugal with my money. I felt like I understood that just because Vietnam is cheap and you've got so much you can buy and the money is insane in the sense that when you compare it to the pound, it's like monopoly money. It's like things are so cheap that you mentally cannot comprehend it. But at the same time, just because something is cheap, just because it's readily available, do I really need it? If I was in the UK and this was available to me, would I buy it? No. So why, just because I'm in Vietnam, should I waste my money? So I really learned how to be frugal and only buy the things that I really needed. And if there was something that I wanted, it was always a good and calculated purchase. I also learned to not take things for granted. So for example, with the food situation, there were many times I struggled to eat because I'm a vegetarian and the vegetarian options are there, but I did find it a little bit harder. But at the same time, for me, it was like, I'd rather eat something than not eat at all. And this meal that I'm getting, it might not be exactly what I want, but at least I have something to eat and I'm very grateful. I also met incredible strangers who made my life so much better in terms of the perspective I have. Sometimes we worry about things that are so, in the moment, might feel really big. But when you really deep it, it's never that deep, is it? You're going to die at the end of the day. So whatever is meant for you is meant for you. So what's the point of worrying? And even though I might not see them again, I think that's the beauty of it because you get to have this wonderful experience with this stranger for however long that may be. And then you never see them again. And it kind of teaches you to not be so fixated on something. You just kind of learn to let go and hold that memory for what it was. And lastly, if you have ever thought about solo traveling, you'll hear all these TikToks and these stories of people saying, oh my God, solo traveling changed my life. It was the best thing ever, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, it's not cheesy. It is very true. Solo traveling was the best thing I ever did. And I'm literally just like itching to do it again. And I can't wait. I almost feel addicted to traveling. So please, please, please take this as your sign. I thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I'm doing really well. I feel good. I feel happy. I'm in Thailand. I cannot complain. The thought of coming back makes me sad, but I'm also missing my friends a little bit. So it's nice to have something to come back to, but I don't know. Thailand is great. I do love it here, but I think Vietnam has my heart differently and I can't wait to talk about it. It might be the next episode. I don't know. I'll put out another poll on my Instagram to see what people want to listen to or want me to talk about more, but Vietnam as an episode is definitely on the cards. Also, just to mention again, don't forget to follow me on my socials, especially my Instagram, because I love posting my unhinged Instagram stories. It's been really nice to not have to think about, oh, what am I going to post? Or do I look okay in this video or whatever? I just literally record and I post. And I feel like doing just that, regardless of if you're traveling or not, is a really good way to build your confidence because it's only 24 hours. No one really cares that much. Just post it. I'd also love to hear your experiences or any questions that you have about LGBTQ culture in Thailand or any of your experiences that you've had with the LGBTQ culture around the world. I thank you so much for watching. I thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Sat Sri Akal. Bye.